Hey everybody, my name is Jeremy Siskin. I'm the author of the new book, Solo Standards for Piano, perfect for Christmas, as well as playing solo jazz piano and jazz piano fundamentals, which is a whole series. It's a whole thing. You'll get it. So, this shadow driving me crazy right here. That's okay. I had a question from a subscriber, commenter, about harmonizing melodies using pentatonic voicings, and that's just the kind of nerdy question that you're definitely going to get me to answer. So I thought, since we're getting into the festive season, we would practice harmonizing Jingle Bells, the classic Christmas tune, Jingle Bells, using pentatonic voicing. So just first, a quick primer. I never know how to pronounce that word. You're catching me in a silly mood, obviously, about pentatonic voicings. All right, so this is the pentatonic scale. This is C major pentatonic scale. Those same 5 notes, by the way, make up A minor pentatonic scale. Not A minor isn't any minor, like A minor. And if you're looking to find that major pentatonic scale, you just remove the 4th and the 7th from the scale. Now, to form pentatonic voicings, what we're going to do is we're going to alternate notes of the scale. And so these are kind of unique voicings because we have a different interval structure between different notes here. It's like a second here, but then a third here, and a second here, and a third between A and C. So that means that these voicings are all each going to have slightly different interval structures too. Okay, so when I say every other note, we're not going to do A, right? We're going to do G. Then we're not going to do E. I should put that over there. We're going to do D. Let's make this bigger. And then we're not going to do C, which would be our next one in the pentatonic scale. We're going to do A. And then we're not going to do G. We're going to do E. And so here's our first pentatonic voicing. Okay. Now, a lot of times you'll play pentatonic voicings with 5 notes, but certainly it's also common to play them with just the top 4 notes, especially if you're going to harmonize a melody. We're going to do 5 notes here, but I do want you to keep that in mind. Because what's one of the cool things, and maybe I'll show you this if we have time later, of doing it with just 4 notes is that you can mix pentatonic and drop 2 voicings. Those mix really well. They have very similar structures. Okay, so going over to D, so we're also going to harmonize this note. We're going to harmonize all 5 notes of the pentatonic scale. So we're going to skip C, which would be the note below D in the scale. We're going to go to A, skip G, go to E. Let's see, D would be next. We're going to skip D. We're going to go to C. I'll put it in the left hand. Skip A, go to G. And in each of these voicings, I should be getting all 5 notes of the pentatonic scale. So far, I've done it right. All right, same process here. I'm going to go a little faster. I'm not going to say the name of every note. Hopefully I can do this, even though I'm sleep deprived because I have a newborn. Let's see. Still got it, baby. Still got it. And then 2 more. Oh, now I'm feeling the pressure. I'm feeling the heat. I'm going to put 2 notes in the left hand here just for convenience. And lastly, I guess everything will go on the right hand here, but I'll divide it between 2 stems. So listen to these all back to back. So pleasing, so lovely. And you might notice, for those of you who are knowledgeable about jazz voicings, that within the pentatonic voicings, we get one that's a quartal voicing, as well as one that's a so what voicing. So there's definitely overlap between pentatonic voicings and then these 2 other major voicing types. All right, so let's go to that wintry classic, Jingle Bells. I'm being really silly. Now, a lot of this melody is very pentatonic. So the path of least resistance that we could take here would be to simply, essentially grab the corresponding note. So for G, I could grab this pentatonic from C pentatonic, right? I don't have to overthink this too much. I'll show you some other things that we could do overthinking it, but I could simply drape the pentatonic scale down from each of these notes. Right? I know I'm going fast, but I think you guys understand the concept, and it's just a matter of executing. Do. You don't get to be a YouTuber with 23,000 followers by not knowing your pentatonic voicings. Actually, I think most do. Okay. And by the way, grace notes can make a world of difference here. So my instinct is to play a little grace note leading into the A in the middle of voicing. I might put a little grace note in leading into the middle note here as well. So C sharp leading to D. I know you can't read that. All right, so this is, like I said, the path of least resistance. We could keep going just for completion's sake, and I'll do a little copy paste job. So we'll speed this up. If I were like a real YouTuber who like cared about things, I'd probably like put in some editing or fast forward here. But that's a pretty good copy paste job, right? And then we get to the F, and so I'm going to go into the F pentatonic scale. Not rocket science. F pentatonic scale would be F, G, A, C, D. I hope I said that right. Okay, this one sounds a little funky, but we don't have the bass here, so imagine that you have an F below. Okay, so now it gets a little bit interesting. You might say, no, it doesn't, but I promise you, what's interesting here is that we have a note outside of the F pentatonic scale. So these first ones, not that interesting. We're just gonna fill them in with the F pentatonic scale. The E, though, however, is not a note of the F pentatonic scale like the other ones are. What on earth are we gonna do? I should have thought of this before I started the video. I'm only partially joking. Okay, so we have kind of two different paths, at least, that we could take. One path would be a diatonic path, and we could fill this E in with either the C or the G. Whoa, sorry. The C or the G pentatonic. Okay, why the C or the G? Well, you can already see that they're closely tonally related, right? C, F, G, not rocket science. You guys know enough about theory. But there's one other reason why these three pentatonic scales are closely related, which is that within a major scale, there's your C major scale, hold your applause. There's three diatonic pentatonic scales available, one starting on the root, the fourth, and the fifth. So here's your notes of the C pentatonic scale, all within C. All your notes of your F pentatonic scale still within F. All your notes of your all your notes of your F pentatonic scale still within the C major scale, and all your notes of the G pentatonic still within the C major scale. Guys, I did not get enough sleep last night. So one thing that we could do in this place is throw in one of those other diatonic pentatonic scales. Wow, diatonic pentatonic scales. I think a C will sound pretty good. And in fact, you're gonna see, look what happened. We have the exact same chord beneath the melody, because there's only one note different between those two pentatonic scales, and it's F moves to E. All right, pretty bland if we're being honest, right? So our other kind of set of options would be something to do with planing. And so planing means that we're going to move a shape rather than think tonally. This is not a tonal device. And we could target this by planing, or we could plane from the previous chord. So the previous chord has all perfect fourths. So we could use all perfect fourths. I did that wrong. B, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp. And I like this better already than the last option because we're moving a little bit. So let's hear how this sounds. I love it. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Now this is pretty similar to the other thing I want to show you with planing, which is if we move into each of these notes by half step. Now, you will note that the melody is not moving by half step, but we could still make the bottom parts move by half step. So I'm going to go A flat, D flat, G flat, B flat. Pretty similar to the other one. I'm not sure I love the tritone on top, so I might not want to use that. I might prefer the other version, which just had a C flat or B on top instead. By the way, if you're wondering, it looked like all the notes changed just because I rewrote it as flats instead of sharps. Okay, the G is also interesting because this is, serving a dominant role. If we harmonize this with a G pentatonic, it sounds okay. It certainly doesn't sound dominant, right? So we could replace this E with an F. And if you get my book, Jazz Piano Fundamentals Book 3, I talk about other possible pentatonics. This is Jazz Piano Fundamental Book 3. One of them is the dominant pentatonic, which is 1, 2, 3, 5, and then flat 7 instead of 6. And that's what we're doing here if we harmonize this dominant chord. Let's see. And since we have that F in the melody, let's keep using that one. I also talk about a flat 6 pentatonic, which is really cool sound. I'm not sure we're going to be able to use it in Jingle Bells, but so I'm doing the pentatonic voicings the same way. I'm just using an alternate pentatonic scale. I'm using 1, 2, 3, 5, flat 7 instead of 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Oops, I put the F below the B here. I'm telling you guys, this kid's got to start sleeping soon. We're hoping by Christmas. That would really be the greatest Christmas present of all. And then I'll go back to the old friendly C major pentatonic here. Okay, so we had some choices to make here, but it was relatively straightforward. Let's see how this sounds. I know I should go up first. Now, let's pretend for a moment that we want to really have just a killing Jingle Bells. I would start identifying non-chord tones, and I have a big video about this, notes that are passing between two chord tones by step. And here again, we could use planing. So instead of just harmonizing this with the C pentatonic, which is possible, I might think about how I could change a shape. So for instance, I could take this shape, which is a so what voicing, and with all pure intervals, pure meaning perfect fourth and a major third, and I could move it down a step. We're gonna like this, I think. I like it, the resolution's a little bit awkward. So let's see what we can do, that's going to move in here. I have two ideas. One is that we're going to take this exact shape and just transpose it up by a whole step. So it's going to be like a D major E chord. That's kind of a nice color. I can live with that. Or we're going to go up a half step, just like we did, in the previous example from all the notes that we're targeting here. So we're going to go A flat targeting G, E flat targeting D, B flat targeting A, F targeting E, and we're going to go. So that's another way that we can add some color in these pentatonic voicings. So let's summarize, because I'm noticing this video's getting long. Okay, so first of all, we create pentatonic voicings from any major scale by omitting the 4th and 7th to get the pentatonic scale, and then stacking voicings every other note of that pentatonic scale beneath each note. So when we come to a tune like Jingle Bells, we're going to come to a lot of notes from that pentatonic scale. Easiest thing to do is to harmonize them with the pentatonic voicings. When you come to a note not from the pentatonic scale, you might harmonize them with one of the other diatonic pentatonic scales from the home key. So since we're in the overall key of C, we're thinking about C, F, and G. And for each key, it's going to be the 1, 4, and 5. Or you can try planing, which means literally moving a shape, transposing it. And you can plane from the previous chord or to the next chord. And when you plane to the next chord, you could do it with the melody, or you could do it by half step or maybe even by whole step in order to get some different colors that have still a sense of continuity and resolution. So there's a lot about pentatonics in this book, Jazz Piano Fundamentals Book 3, which just came out in January of 2024. Lot to check out about pentatonic voicings there. And I'll just remind you, if you want to play some jazz piano that sounds professional level, I've got this newish book, Solo Standards for Piano. I think that PDF's only $11.99, so just like pick it up. Nice stocking stuffer. Thanks for watching, everybody. Why don't you say something about a stocking if you watch this far. Bye-bye.